I'm a country girl, and I started out in country music. That's my favorite. Of course, I like to think that I can do all sorts of music now. Late 60s, early 70s, and I had just started making a name in country music, so of course all country girls want to go to the city, so my girlfriend Judy Ogle and I, we thought, well, we'll just go to New York.
Dolly, do you see a time when your country music will fade into the past?
Oh, I don't think so. I think I'm far too country for my country music to fade into the past, but this past year.
Imagine growing up in a one-room cabin without water, almost dying of pneumonia at age 7, and later escaping a dangerous stalker. Dolly Parton's life is a story of survival, and now, at 79, she's sharing a decision that defies belief. When a stalker infiltrated her estate, the FBI got involved, yet Dolly refused to press charges. But the reason why ties into her empire building and the pressure of maintaining her upbeat public image. This isn't just about resilience. It's a look at the shocking choices behind her success. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So did you click the subscribe button? Great, thank you so much. Now back to the videos. Before there was glamour and glitter, there was Locust Ridge, Tennessee, a small town tucked away in the Smoky Mountains. This was where Dolly Parton grew up, in a one-room cabin that she later described as leaning more to the left than the right. It was home, but it wasn't easy. Her parents, Lee and Avie Lee, worked tirelessly to provide for their 12 children. No electricity, no running water, and certainly no luxury. Dolly's father farmed tobacco for meager earnings, while her mother, often pregnant and ill, took care of the children. This was life for the Parton family, a narrow thread binding them together, stitched with resilience and survival. But life in that cabin wasn't just tough, it was fragile. When Dolly was 7, she developed a severe case of pneumonia, a medical emergency that could have easily turned fatal in such poor conditions. The family couldn't afford proper care, but they also couldn't afford to lose their little girl. In an act that summed up their desperation, they sold their only pig to cover the costs of her medicine. That story stayed with Dolly, not as a burden, but as a reminder of what life demanded of her family, and what they were willing to sacrifice to keep going. Perhaps that's why Dolly has always been quick to say she owes her success to family. She learned early what it meant to fight for survival. Even in those lean years, Dolly found moments of escape in music. When other children played with dolls or toys, luxuries her family couldn't afford, Dolly sang songs with a homemade guitar her uncle helped her put together. In her autobiography, she recalled how music became her lifeline, a way out of the walls of that cabin. While the others helped on the farm or with chores, Dolly would write songs, imagining herself performing on stages she had only heard of in the distant world beyond the Smoky Mountains. It wasn't just a dream, it was her only shot at breaking free from the crushing poverty around her. Being one of 12 children added to this crushing dynamic, yet it was another lesson in resilience. Dolly saw firsthand the ways her parents stretched scraps to feed them all, or patched the same clothes over and over until they barely held together. Limited resources meant the siblings often fended for themselves and for each other. She later joked about wearing a coat her mother sewed out of rags, but behind the humor lay a sense of pride. That struggle built character. It's no surprise that Dolly became the determined woman we know today. She knew from a young age how to survive when the odds weren't in her favor. Her childhood shaped much more than her approach to surviving. It informed her principles, her choices, and her attitude toward adversity later in life. Studies on resilience often point to early hardship leading to a mental toughness in adulthood, and Dolly is a textbook example of that. For her, big risks and setbacks meant a chance to try harder, adapt faster, and believe in herself more fully. She turned every setback into a stepping stone, every no into motivation. While most of us first recognized her talent in her breakout years in Nashville, Dolly's grit was forged long before an audience ever clapped for her. That story of near death at age 7 was just one chapter in what would become a lifetime of challenges. In adulthood, whether it was struggling to build her career as a young woman in a male-dominated industry or navigating personal heartbreaks and betrayals, Dolly always seemed to lean on the same inner strength she had as a child in Locust Ridge. Resilience for her wasn't an abstract idea, it was her foundation, the only way she could survive and thrive. And when you think about how intensely her life took on twists and turns after her early Nashville years, you can see how everything she endured as a child prepared her for moments when the stakes were unimaginably high. One of those moments was during the stalker incident in 1987, a terrifying experience that, even for someone with Dolly's vast tolerance for stress, would test anyone's limits. The lessons she carried from that cabin in Locust Ridge didn't just guide her in that moment, they helped her remain calm in a situation that could have spiraled out of control. Facing danger was nothing new for her. The difference now, however, was that she wasn't just protecting herself, she was protecting something much bigger, a brand, an empire, a legacy, and that wasn't something she could leave to chance. In 1987, a strange and alarming incident shook Dolly Parton's world. A man claiming to be on a divine mission bypassed security at her estate, made his way inside, and eventually stood just feet from where she slept. In his mind, he wasn't just an intruder, he believed he was sent by God to save her soul. The night could have ended in tragedy if not for Dolly's quick-thinking security team, but the details of what unfolded that evening revealed just how chilling his intentions really were. The stalker's plan was unusually calculated. Disguised in a stolen catering uniform, he managed to get past security checkpoints without raising suspicion. His outfit wasn't the only thing he used to blend in. He carried a disposable camera and a Bible, items that could seem harmless, but in the context of his actions, painted a disturbing picture. By the time he entered her home, he'd come dangerously close to achieving his goal. It wasn't until he was finally confronted by security that his reasoning became clear. He believed Dolly's fame was a temptation she needed to escape from, and that he was the one destined to remove it, cleanse her, and save her. What made this incident even more complex wasn't just the security breach or the stalker's bizarre behavior, it was Dolly's reaction afterward. Despite clear evidence that the man had planned to harm her in some way, she made the decision to drop all charges against him. This wasn't, as some might assume, a gesture of forgiveness or leniency. It was rooted in a bigger fear. But her decision wasn't without sacrifice. Imagine carrying the weight of knowing someone out there had obsessed over you so deeply that they broke into your home, yet choosing not to pursue full legal action. This wasn't about fear, it was strategy. Dolly prioritized protecting her legacy, her livelihood, and her employees over her emotional comfort. Her actions sent a message. She was determined to maintain control of her narrative, even in a moment where her life was directly at risk. The choice to drop charges sparked some criticism in the limited circles aware of the incident. Some wondered if she had dismissed the severity of the threat or underestimated the man's unstable behavior. But Dolly's team and those closest to her knew better. The decision came from a place of immense pressure to succeed, to preserve the reputation of Dollywood, and to ensure that the park's promising start wouldn't be derailed. Dolly Parton's decision to protect Dollywood over her personal safety wasn't just a business move, it was a testament to her unwavering resilience. It speaks to her ability to make tough, calculated decisions, even under immense pressure. While many see her sequins and smiles, beneath it all, she's a master strategist who has built an empire while surviving personal and professional challenges. From saving a town's economy to shaping an industry, every move Dolly makes adds to her legacy. So as fans, we're left wondering, how often are her most difficult sacrifices hidden behind that famous grin? Let us know.